Good morning and namaste to everyone, the panel and the attendees. Today's speaker is Mrs. Shaini Surendran, as you all already know. She has more than 20 years of experience in sports and preventive nutrition. After completing her master's in food service management from Women's Christian College, Chennai, she further enhanced her knowledge by enrolling in many certification programs all over the world. She's the first Indian to complete graduate diploma in sports nutrition from International Olympic Committee. It's supposed to be one of the most difficult courses to complete, and has many more certifications from courses done in New Zealand and Australia. On the work front, she was a consultant at high performance gyms in Chennai, like Fitness One, Maverick, Primal Patterns Fitness Studio, and on the sports front, she has been working with players from various sports, which include, of course, tennis, cricket, badminton, squash, swimming, kabaddi, and even wheelchair basketball. Till recently, she was a lecturer for sports nutrition in Sri Ramachandra University, Chennai. As Leander said, we learn something new every day. So, dear coaches, to educate us on how to help our players handle their nutrition and hydration better, on your behalf, I welcome Mrs. Shaini Surendran. Over to you, Shaini. Can I unmute?
Thank you, Mr. Balachandran. It's such a pleasure being here. Thank you, AITA and Sports Authority of India for having invited me here to address all of you. And it is such a pleasure to hear Mr. Leander Paes speak. And all you coaches out there, I think it was like taking a vitamin pill, because it was years of experience which was beautifully shared, and it's such wonderful takeaways when you said emotional strength, and then you shared details about how it all started, and there's no substitute for hard work. Amazing. And Mumbai trains, the vada pav, and all the amazing hard work. So I guess that's something. Really glad to also meet all of your coaches here. Excellent. So I'm going to be keeping this session completely Desi Indian, because most often when we look for information, a lot of people will see Western things, and then we go looking around for berries and avocados. And during lockdown, and especially considering the fact that we are all so attached to our Desi Khana, and we need to appreciate what is available here. And I also want to highlight what Mr. Leander Paes mentioned, like doping is a big issue, and I have met Dr. Paes. It was such an honor to meet your father. He had been to Sri Ramachandra Medical College when I used to work there as a lecturer, and I had interacted with him in the right proportions, and absolutely being extremely careful, or rather it's best not to use any supplements. So it was such a big takeaway in those years of my career to listen to him. Okay, so I'll go ahead, deep dive into the presentation. I would like to share the slides. Kindly let me know if you can see this. Yeah, okay, perfect. Okay, so I'll go ahead with this. So I'm going to really run through, because I think we are already running out of time. I've kept it to the basics. Okay, so all of us love our vehicles, the cars or bikes or whatever you have, right? Basic easy way to understand would be, so irrespective of what car you have, whether you have a small car, or if it's going to be a high-end luxury car or an SUV, you need to. I live in Chennai. Okay, so if I were to plan a trip, I definitely have to ensure that my fuel tank is full. Right. So when I drive there, I make sure that my fuel tank is full. And a lot of people there, and of course also sightseeing and all of that, over a period of time, the fuel is going to run out. So likewise, a tennis player, whether it's a child athlete or a seasoned player, has to ensure that the fuel tank is full. When I say fuel, it's not just the food, it's also hydration. It's very important that fluids are also maintained really well, and this has to be topped up. And there are but a few people who sweat quite a lot. So even before starting the session, 2-3 days well ahead of time, it's good that they really take care of their electrolytes too, so that the hydration is maintained. And once the session is over, soon after that, it's better to top up something and then go home, because most often a lot of time is wasted in the traffic. Okay, or probably you will be strategizing or having a discussion with the coach, and then another extra hour goes there in the court after the practice session is over. Okay, so that is a very good window period one should not lose, and it's very important to carry something. So imagine the car and the fuel, just like how you would top it up from time to time. So what you eat before, during, after is very, very crucial. And why should you bother about food or performance nutrition? Okay, it's just like this. You just have to focus on everyday eating, because it's not about what you eat a week before the tournament is going to start. It's about what you do on a daily basis, just like how Mr. Liantepe said, every single day, each and every hour of the practice that you put in, it has a cumulative effect. Likewise, it's the same for the food. And even during lockdown, we've all been talking about how important it is to enhance immunity. So it's not that you start eating healthy food today and tomorrow your immunity is going to like really get better. It doesn't happen overnight. This has to happen over a period of time, and every single day, every meal, the quality that you choose to put into your system matters. And see, we spend quite a lot of money when we build our dream house. It is just like that. The bricks that you choose, the raw material that you buy to build your dream house is something that you will never compromise on, and you will really go ahead and invest a lot of money. So likewise, this is the temple that you have. So the physical body has to be nurtured with nourishing foods, and that will be one of the most important pillars to perform very well, when the D-Day arrives, right? So I work with a lot of children here, so there will be a lot of reference to child athletes also. So I'll run you through this. Now, fueling is also very, very important. So it's not just the food, it's also the liquids or the hydration, which is of utmost importance. And fueling with the food that tastes good, okay, and also something that you really enjoy. Okay, because there are so many athletes, I know tennis players who actually went to Manila and a lot of European countries, and they really struggled. It's just that the children were not exposed to a whole lot of different cuisines. So my recommendation would always be to the, whether the coaches, the parents, or whomever, it's just that as a child is growing up, take them out, okay, and or at least there should be different foods that they're exposed to, so that they get used to various cuisines and palate and not stick to just the homemade food, because there could be practical difficulties that one could have when they travel abroad for training for months together. If you are working with a coach abroad, or else someone from here, say for instance a South Indian goes to North India and then does some training, so there also there could be challenges. So food is a very important component, and that's why I'm emphasizing so much on this. The role of carbohydrates, protein, and fat. So these are the macronutrients. This you definitely need in larger quantities. And most often when it comes to sports nutrition, a lot of people think it's about supplements, it's about protein. Yes, I do agree protein is very important, but what you need is a good amount of carbohydrates, so that the protein is left alone to do its job of injury healing as well as muscle growth and maintenance, then the fluid balance, the hormone synthesis, immune function, and also any kind of surgeries in case somebody has gone through, the recovery will be much faster because of that. Okay, at every aspect. So if you're not taking adequate carbohydrates, because this keto paleo diets have become so popular since 2013, so a lot of people were toying with those kind of low carb, high fat diets, and they actually had a lot of health issues, right? So you really need to work closely with a professional to understand what is important for your body type, because you need to create a template and see at what stage you're able to perform better. So food is your fuel. So see food as fuel, because a lot of people might just eat food when they are stressed, when they're anxious, when they're bored, especially during lockdown phase. Okay. So if you start, need adequate carbohydrates for recovery, and also to ensure that you don't have major mood swings because of the serotonin level. That is one of your neurotransmitter which keeps you nice and happy and healthy. So if you eat a dal chawal, or else probably a roti and dal and a cup of raita, or rice, kadi chawal, when you have all of this, or maybe curd rice. Down south, it's curd rice and potatoes and all that. You actually feel nice. In fact, if you have had curd rice and you sat in a class in school, you would have dozed off like anything. It's just that the serotonin releases and it makes you nice and calm and composed. Okay, so you can manipulate foodstuffs just to pump up your energy. So if you are going in for a session where you really need a lot of energy, where you really pepped up, focus a lot more on the protein, okay, and reduce a bit of these kind of foods. And towards the night is where you really have your rice and dal and this potato or yam and sweet potatoes in your food, along with some meat. Then what happens is you'll really see that you'll sleep very well, and that will help in recovery, and testosterone production also will be perfect, and you will recover beautifully for the session the next day. Okay, I'll show you meal plates and how it is split. You'll be able to see the breakup. Okay, fat is not the villain, it's just that the quality of fat that you choose is very important. So if it is ghee, very ghee, it has to be prepared from the based on grass. So grass-fed cow's milk is more important. So I keep teasing people here down south. So I say, when I see cows, they are chewing cinema posters. They're out on the streets. Okay. So why? Because the cinema posters have cellulose, and that's why the cows, you are actually the ones on the streets, will find them grazing on that, or rather eating all of that junk, right? So the best is to look for an organic farm and choose, a good quality organic milk. And if it high, and that increases the amount of muscle mass and it reduces the fat percentage. So this is the best thing that you can get when you are getting good fats through your diet. Okay, so it could be flax seeds, chia seeds, sabja seeds, fatty fishes, nuts, almonds, walnuts, pistachios, and all of that. Okay, you needn't go looking for macadamia nuts or else Brazil nuts in case you can't source it. The cashews that you get here are still good. Okay, you can buckle, because you will support the local farmer, and you will also get foodstuffs which are not processed or preserved, and it doesn't travel long distances to reach your city. Done. Now this is how a training diet should be. So this is very, very important to consume a balanced diet. So if you look at this meal plate, you will see there's quite a lot of, then there are whole grains, okay, and also quite meat, and there are good fats. So when it comes to fats, there's something called as hidden fat or invisible fat. So you, for instance, you know moongfali, right? When you have moongfali, it has oil in it. So that's how we get the groundnut oil. Likewise, when you have a tilka chikki or sesame seed ka chikki jo hai, when you have that, that also has oil. It's an oil seed, but you can't see it with the naked eye. So it's very important to understand that there are hidden fats. And then there is also the fat that you add while cooking, and there could be a bhaji, bonda, pakoras that you are having. So there also that amount of oil comes in. So watch out, because in case it is an adult athlete where your strength and conditioning coach as well as your coach has, your tennis coach has asked you to keep a watch on the amount of fat and all that, I think one should remember that there are also invisible fats in that. Okay, and fat is not bad. It's just that you need to choose the right amount of fats and get the form, because if you're working with children and adolescents have this growth spurt, so they should actually be eating well, because after a point their epiphyseal plate is going to close. After that they wouldn't be able to grow any taller, because I've dealt with a lot of children who were carried away by this thing about supplements, and they were spending 20,000 rupees per month for supplements, and they were weighing food, 75 grams per 100 grams of dal. They were eating like that. Each year they hadn't grown any taller. Okay, so there's so much of information information explosion is what I would say. There are so much they just available, or whatever is fancy, or whatever is a fad diet, or being endorsed by a celebrity. Okay, so this is one thing that I would really want you to say. Netflix documentary, The Game Changers, that's another thing, because soon after the documentary was released, I had a whole lot of requests asking for a vegan diet. So that's another story all by itself. Okay, so if you're having, okay, so if you look at this plate, you know, if it's a moderate training day, this will be the breakup. If you could make sure that there is grains, okay, but you will also get a lot of carbohydrates coming in from the vegetables. So if you're having yellow pumpkin, potato, yam, and all of that, it has a lot of starch. Carrot, beetroot has starch, okay, and the rajma, chana, kala chana, whatever you're taking, all the dal varieties that you're having has around 45 to 50% of carbs. So there's quite a lot of carbs sitting in these also, fruits, the meat, a good combination, and then to ensure that there is fresh fruit, and also add the flavors, any spices. So we use a lot of haldi, ginger, garlic, and all that in our regular cooking. And the rasam that we make down south also has quite a lot of spices, which enhances immunity. And the ones in the north must be having kada, right? The kada with all these spices are also extremely good. And especially during lockdown, the government has also issued a statement that we really need to focus on having these kind of kada, or the kashayams that we call, which are very good for enhancing immunity. So this could be part of a player's diet also. Hard training days is where you see that the ratio of the carbohydrates, so the grains is half the plate. Of carbohydrates is something that's going to really take care of recovery, and also help them play without any kind of fatigue and sustain. So the endurance also will be completely enhanced. And in case somebody is not taking meat, it will be good to have a variety of protein rich sources. So for a vegetarian, you have a whole lot of dals, and you also have amaranth ya rajgira. That is also a very good source. Okay, if you can't afford quinoa, this is something that one can really bank on. And you also have besan ka chilla, moong ka chilla, you have dokla, khandvi, and a handful of nuts. You can also take roasted Bengal gram, chana jor garam, okay, roasted peas, and kala chana, gar ka bana hua dal makhni. So all of this. Down south, we have dishes like koot. Koot is nothing but like your palak dal, loki dal, okay? And there's something called as usli, which Tamil Brahmin people have quite a lot. So usli is also something which is a dish for a paka vegetarian. So, and we call sundal. Sundal is nothing but you just season the kala chana or rajma, or else the white chana, kabuli chana, and then just season it with some, do some tadka, and then just eat it just like that. And Kerala usually add a generous amount of coconut to that. Okay, so India has a wealth of knowledge about food and all that. It's just that we need to tap its potential. So have a look at this. So there's this anytime meal where, if you're really conscious during the lockdown phase, if you want to keep your weight under check, or to keep the fat percentage under check, and do not want any kind of unnecessary fat gain, then anytime meal is something that one you could look at, because this is where you have quite a lot of vegetables on your plate, and then that comes in. And drink a lot of water, because when you're sitting at home during lockdown, all the players need to understand that you need to drink adequate water, because we tend to perceive thirst as hunger. Simple terms, if you're feeling hungry, first drink a glass of water, wait for 5-10 minutes. Uske baad, if still that hunger is there, then make sure then you eat. If the hunger subsides, it was never hunger in the first place. Okay, so we tend to perceive this very differently. Post-workout meal should definitely have carbs and protein, have to have so carbohydrates and protein combination. So the best example that I would give would be any of the milkshakes or sandwiches, or it could be idli with some thick sambar, and the sambar should have a lot of vegetables in it, or it could be a porridge. So we make something down south called Saptamavu Kanji, which actually has a whole lot of red rice and then different types of pulses. Nuts like groundnuts are added, badam, cashew, everything. And then this is sprouted, dry roasted, powdered, and this powder is prepared just drink around half a liter. So a lot of the kids that I work with, I always put them on this, Ghar ka bana hua porridge, and this is like excellent. It's got everything in one shot. Okay, and also there's a lot of people who by choice have become vegans or pakka vegetarians. So you just need to sit with a professional to understand how to plan the meal and what works for you. Because if you are a very fussy eater, or if the student or your athlete is quite fussy about certain foodstuffs, it's very difficult to ensure that one doesn't fall into this deficiency. So you really have to work around it. For example, there could be someone with a lactose intolerance, a gluten intolerance, or soy protein allergy, and is a pure vegetarian. So you have very few tools to work out with, and they might require omega-3 or a zinc supplement, okay, or a micronutrient supplement, which will come in handy. So it is very, very important to sit with a professional and get the plan organized. Okay. So everyday eating is the it is important to maximize the glycogen stores. Simple thing, your fuel tank has to be full. Okay, so bus and car, as the example that I had taken earlier, before a competition, make sure that the fuel tank is full. So the previous night itself, there should be a nice aloo paratha, or else it can be a homemade fried rice, or else a idli dosa with fish curry or a chicken curry or a egg curry, or it could be dal chawal, or it can be a North Indian style khichdi with curry, any of that, because that's going to top up the carbohydrate stores. And another thing is, there would be a winning formula. I remember playing with working with a tennis player earlier in Chennai, and then that boy loved pasta, and for him, the day he eats pasta, he goes and plays fabulously well. So there was an emotional connect with that particular dish. Okay, so it's better not to mess up with that. So it'll be good. So I would always say, go ahead, eat that the previous night, enjoy that meal. And psychologically, this also makes a big difference. And don't try anything new, because you don't want any kind of stomach upset. That's another thing. With the children, I've always noticed, bowel movement and all that is a big problem. And you can't take a break and run to the restroom to cleanse your bowels. So all of these factors important, right? And a good mix of these, and don't try anything new before this. And of course, in case someone is highly stressed, and in case the match is going to start at 10, so before they start from home, if they're like so nervous, then it's better to have a smoothie, or probably a milkshake, or the porridge that I had mentioned earlier. That also works wonders. Okay, so 2 to 4 hours before the competition, if a good meal is eaten, or else a standard staple breakfast is taken, that will help. By the time you get to the court and start playing, this food gets digested, and the energy for now during the competition are used. So that is one thing that one can take. Okay, but again, you should have tested all this before the competition. So it's very important to work closely with a professional to understand what works best for you. Okay. Another thing, water is definitely good, but if you have extreme sweat losses, then I think you should consider salt tablets, or perhaps even electrolyte drinks. So do all of this during the off-season time, or it's during the time when you don't have any of these tournaments. So what to eat before a workout? So regular practice days, what is it that we should focus on? So the first 50 minutes or 30 minutes, it's better to replace the fluid and the electrolytes. So the easiest thing, before a practice session will be to eat bananas, a handful of nuts. Okay, if you're on the go, best would be to have like a cup of dahi, ghar ka bana hua dahi. I'm not talking about anything fancy. Ghar ka bana hua dahi would be in a lot. If it's tournaments, then it's best to buy those tub yogurt, because it's and it doesn't sour, it's neatly packed, doesn't spill. Okay, granola bars are also perfectly fine. Now within 2 hours, you need to check the weight before and after every practice session to understand your own fluid requirements. And usually it is always advised, check the color of fluid every time the being passed. Who are all the time carrying their phones, even as they go to the toilet, they carry their phones with them and do not look in the commode. So it's important, that's one thing that I tell a lot of child athletes, the teenagers, kindly do not carry the phone to the toilet. Make sure that you're looking at what you're pooping, and then also look at the color of urine, because everything matters and they convey quite a lot of messages. Fine. And the post competition, so after a practice session or after a game, it is very important to step up. It's like your fuel tank is low and you need to top it up. So this is going to help in recovery, and the sooner the better. So the next 2 hours, 1 to 2 hours after a practice session, this is very, very important. So one needs to plan and everything and carry it. So that's when peanut butter sandwiches helps, or else carrying dry fruits and nuts, or else it can be something very simple. See, down south it's so very hot, so I usually ask them to carry some curd rice with them with some pickle. Why pickle? Because pickle, papad, or any of these kind of things have extra salt. And in case you had a lot of sweat, this is the simplest thing to have. And curd is nothing but probiotic, and it takes care of your intestinal health. Okay, so it's very soothing on the stomach. And once the child goes home, they go ahead and then, of course, eat their regular garkha khana, nice and freshly prepared. Okay, this is another thing. So consume foodstuffs which are rich in carbohydrates. That is very, very important, especially after a practice session. Done? And also fluid correction, fluids. Those are also very important. Now, because of the lockdown, I thought, this is something that we really need to touch upon. Immune system. Vitamin A is very crucial. If you want, you can just take a picture. I'm just going to run through. And of course, vitamin C. And you also have vitamin E, all the nuts and seeds and oils. Zinc is also very important to enhance vitamin C. Excellent source. Magnesium. This, in fact, prevents cramping. So magnesium supplements are given to ensure that a player doesn't cramp, and it has worked very well. I have worked with Mr. Balachandran's wards or students, and magnesium is something that was missing. So if the soil is pretty depleted, the food might not have adequate ones, or if a person is not taking any of this. So commonly used to prevent cramping. These are things which are very easily available in our kitchen. Very good if you can make a kashayam or else a kada and then drink during lockdown and even post lockdown. I think this entire year we really need to be very, very careful, and this is going to raise the immunity. These are the vegetarian sources, so pulses and lentils, and then of course soybeans and all that, nuts and seeds. And as I mentioned earlier, there is also all the besan chilla, moong chilla, adai, pesarattu. Pesarattu is eaten in Andhra. It's green gram dosa, and that's excellent. So you consider that. Amaranthia, Rajgira is also very good. Down south, a lot of millets are used, and that's absolutely gluten free. That's the best part. Okay, so this is the healthy plate. I'm just going to go for the gluten thing. I really want to tell you. See, gluten is one thing that became very popular after Djokovic shared his experiences. I'll give you a simple example. There was a client of mine who, in spite of drinking adequate water, eating foodstuffs before, during, after, he was still feeling tired, and his blood levels of iron was really low. Okay, the main problem was nothing but gluten. I put him on a gluten-free and a dairy-free diet, and then we were able to see how he started absorbing all the foodstuffs that he was taking. All the nutrients were reaching his blood. So what happens in gluten? Simple example. If you have a petrol car, will you put diesel in it or kerosene in it? Will it work? It won't, right? So you need to give the right fuel. Okay, so you could be an international level player or anybody, right? But if you do not understand your own body type, if you haven't studied your body type and then you put the wrong fuel, what happens with gluten is it's just that there is a lot of inflammation in the small intestine. And because of this inflammation, even if you've eaten iron-rich food, calcium-rich food, there is no absorption. So your blood doesn't get any of these nutrients, and you'll have a lot of discomfort. So how do you know what is gluten intolerance? How do you identify it? These are the symptoms. I had it 10-15 years back. I had it. So that's why I'm sharing this story. And bloating, diarrhea, constipation, and then if you're passing gas all the time, and if it is smelly gas, I think you really need to suspect all of this. Abdominal pain, headaches, breathing, asthma, like breathing difficulty, which is exactly what Djokovic felt. Okay, and sometimes because of this, there'll also be a feeling of depression because you're not absorbing the nutrients, and there could be gross deficiency at the cellular level. And if that is not being rectified, then definitely you will exhibit these kind of symptoms also. And unexplained anemia. I remember how PT Usha had mentioned some time back how in her heydays, her hemoglobin level was always suboptimal. I think there could have been a food allergen. Okay, and most Asians have even lactose intolerance, which just go undetected, and we just latch on to our teas and coffees, and we do not want to give it up. Okay, so this also could be a big issue, and there are so many options. There are so many options. Even if you're lactose intolerant, you can easily go ahead and work around it. Not a problem. And you know what? The best news about gluten is, see, forget the wheat, barley, rye, but you have a whole lot of other thing. You can have thali peat. Okay, you can have a whole lot of jawar, bajra, all those rotis. All those are perfectly fine, and you can make dosas out of millets. Okay, idlis, and then vermicelli. All these are available in the market, so it's like really easy. You can have poha. So the options are plenty for an Indian, and all your rajgira and besan chilla, moong chilla are also gluten free. Okay, so that's the best part. You can go ahead and take this, and it's very easy for an Indian to make this transition beautifully. And even for lactose, okay, so these are the symptoms for lactose intolerance. You could have bloating, gas, pain in the abdomen, passing quite a lot of gas, and there could be symptoms of acidity also. Okay, even that could happen. And these are the alternatives. Okay, soy milk, rice milk, hemp milk, cashew milk, almond milk, coconut milk. So there are so many resources in India itself. You can work around it. Not a problem. Just sit with a professional work, and you can really sort this out. Okay, so I'll tell you what happens is, if your gut and your brain has a strong connection. So if your intestines are not okay, if you're feeling a lot of discomfort, okay, it will really give you a lot of brain fog. You won't have clarity in thought. You won't be able to strategize your game. Okay, you'll have a brain fog. Okay, why? Because like I've gone through this 10 years back, and then as I was talking to a client, my eyes just closed. I was so embarrassed. It is just that my energy levels were so low in spite of 8 hours of sleep, and I had to figure this out myself with a food diary, do an elimination test, and that's when I figured out it was the wheat which was causing trouble. Okay, and once it was over, it was as though a brain fog was just lifted. Okay, so it was such a fantastic experience in just 2 weeks time. That's it. Okay, so these are all the vegetarian sources. You can play around with anything. Okay, hydration, very important. I need to emphasize more. All of you know that. The color chart helps a lot to educate the children, the child athletes. All of this really makes a big difference. Another thing is also overhydration. No one talks about it. Okay, overhydration can kill a person. That can really happen. So that's why I shared. I had this good fortune of meeting Tim Noakes, Professor Tim Noakes from Cape Town, while I was working in Sri Ramachandra Medical College. And this gentleman was a big proponent of low carb, high fat diets. In fact, I sometimes work with clients and put them, while they are on off season, I put them on a low carb, high fat diet, to adults, only adult athletes, after a comprehensive blood test. But then before the season starts, again, I start loading them with carbs. So you should know when to do what. And that's the most important thing. And I always tell the athletes, any player that I'm working with, figure out what suits you. You get your shirts tailored, you get your trousers tailored. Likewise, food tailored, and create your own template. And when you eat that food, you will be able to perform extremely well, and you hit your best at that time. Okay, so you great. When someone looks at you, your face is nice and bright, your eyes are sparkling, okay, and your hair and nails and skin is glowing, right? So those are all ways in which, in fact, it reflects your good health. And plus, you're able to recover from your games. You're able to do your best when your SNC coach is giving sessions, right? So the gym, you're able to do justice in the court, all of this. So I think that's peak performance, and food plays a big role. Sleep disturbances, this is another crucial thing that I really wanted to share, because sleep disturbance, it's a big problem with athletes, youngsters, all of them. It's just that you do not go to sleep, and melatonin doesn't get released. So if you're constantly looking at the phone, so the blue light is going to hit your eye, and this is going to prevent the cortisol or the stress hormone to come down. Only if this comes down, the melatonin or the sleep hormone comes up. And once that happens, you will sleep well. About sleep, I really have to tell you, it's not about 8 hours of sleep. It's about going to bed at 10 o'clock and waking up at 5 or 5:30 or 6. It's about being in alignment with the circadian rhythm. Okay, so there is sunrise, sunset, there's nature, and we need to be in alignment with the nature. And we all know during the lockdown period, see how nature has played in all of our lives. One tiny virus that has really put the entire world on a standstill, right? So you can't mess up with this nature, right? So if you're in alignment with nature, and if you go to bed at 10, so what happens is 10 to 2 a.m., your body undergoes repair. And 2 a.m. to 6 a.m., your mind undergoes repair. And when you mess this up, what happens is insulin, leptin, ghrelin, three hormones get disturbed completely, and you end up getting a lot of sugar cravings. So when you're looking at, or like, thinking about the cakes and the ice creams and all the kesari and the sweets, you won't be able to connect or link the food with the sleep that you're messing up with. Another factor is you could be exercising quite a lot, expecting a good amount of muscle mass to come. But then, if you're not sleeping on time, if you're not sleeping between that window period, what happens is your growth hormone and your testosterone get really messed up. Or in the sense, when you sleep well, these two secrete properly, and you will have better enhancements. You will see hypertrophy of muscles happening. Okay, so do not mess up the foundation. This is the most crucial thing. And sleep is very, very important. So for you to sleep at 10, you need to be in bed by 9:30. By the time you toss around and all that and kind of settle down, you will really sleep well by 9:45, 10. Important. Another thing is magnesium helps you sleep well. So the ones who are having trouble with magnesium, include some pumpkin seeds, have some quinoa, or probably consider chamomile tea. That is also a great one to help you sleep. Okay, so all this could happen if you're not sleeping well. You can make a lot of mental errors, judgment. And Mr. Leander Pace very clearly emphasized on emotional fitness and then mental fitness. He said 75-80%. That's brilliant. Okay, so I guess for that to happen, your gut and brain has a connection. So what you eat, what you absorb, what reaches your bloodstream, do you see the connection there? So this is where food plays a part. And another thing I want to tell you, for coaches, okay, this is the last slide. I would really love to take questions. The most important thing when you're working with a female athlete, okay, I know there are so many coaches out there, and you have such a fantastic rapport, because these students do not come and meet the physiotherapist or a dietitian very often. Coaches are like God, and they will listen to anything they say. Okay, they might not even listen to the parents, but they will come and really have this beautiful relationship with the coaches, and what they say is the final word, right? They literally worship you people. So I have few pointers for all of you. Kindly ask them these questions. First thing, do they go to the toilet every single morning? Because I work with children, I find them that they do not go to the toilet in the morning. They're not eating adequate vegetables. So I always emphasize on minimum of 300 grams of vegetables and 5 fruits a day. And eat local fruits, nothing fancy like kiwi, green apple, nothing. Eat what is available in India, in your city, in your town. Okay, eat local. Eat a lot of vegetables, then the proper download will happen first thing in the morning. Otherwise, while they are doing the practice session, they might ask for a break, run to the toilet, and then come back and again start playing. And they will be embarrassed. You wouldn't like, because the 1 hour in the court is very important for you as a coach, and there are other students who are coming there, right? None of you want to waste your time. So please check with these kids or ask them to maintain a journal. Menstrual cycle, if you're working with female athletes, kindly ask if they're getting their monthly periods. Ask them to maintain a record, and these days you have a lot of apps in the phone that they can use. Why should you be worried? Because if they're not taking adequate energy, because these kids could go ahead and then cut calories without telling you, without meeting a nutritionist or somebody, they can just go on a completely different diet, cut calories drastically, whereas you might have increased the volume and the intensity of the game, the practice sessions. And if the energies do not match up, their growth is going to be compromised, and the body thinks that very little energy is coming. This person is, because the body's job is to keep your heart, liver, kidney function working 24/7, and it sees periods as one unnecessary energy expenditure. It will shut it down. Okay, so, and if that happens, there will be a lot of injury, soft tissue injury. The bones will become weak. They'll have a lot of injuries. So if there is a girl who's having continuous injuries, and then if she's not getting her regular periods, you should be worried. And do not hesitate to ask this girl, are you getting your periods regularly? Okay, so I think this is a very important thing. And talk to any of the child and ask whether do you have any gut disturbances, bloating, flatulence, burping, acidity, diarrhea, constipation, because these could be an underlying problem, or rather the underlying problem could be food intolerance. Okay, it could be lactose or gluten intolerance. So this is important. And once this is done, they'll do remarkably well. Amazing difference. Recovery, sleep, bedtime, very crucial. So they could probably maintain a food journal and then include all these factors also and show it to you before they leave every day. So make sure that these kids are taking, and supplement usage. So very simple. Supplement is like a icing on the cake. Okay, we eat the cake. Okay, the cake is the basics about going to bed on time, eating healthy food, following sports nutrition principles, hydration guidelines. Okay, this decoration, the fondant, and all those decorations on the cake, the icing is just supplement. Okay, so they need to understand before 18 they do not need these kind of supplements. They can have all the mutton soups, eat organ meat, eat a healthy, well balanced diet and in a good quantity, and work with a professional. That's it. Do you have any questions? I would love to take
that. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Shiny. That was a phenomenal presentation. You shared so much of knowledge with us, and the most important thing was it was not too technical, and you were able to connect it to the practical foods and what, you know, it is so easy for people, to the coaches especially, to understand all the information that you shared. Fantastic, and congratulations for that, and very good communication as well.
Thank you so much.
May I ask Shiny a question, please?
Of course, Leander, you're welcome.
Shiny, thank you so much for all this information. It's been really cool, especially that sleep part, because I struggle with sleep with all the time difference that we go through a 40-week calendar. The question that I have for you is that as one gets older, how does one quicken or maintain one's body metabolism to burn food? Are there any food products, or is there something that one can do to keep our metabolism going faster?
Okay, so you must have done your body composition analysis, right? You know exactly your fat percentage and lean body mass. Okay, you could probably, during off season, you can try a low carb, high fat diet. That's one strategy. I'll tell you what I did. This was one of those cricketer from Gujarat. Yeah. So during the off season, we actually worked on reducing the carbohydrate, but increasing the protein, good fats, and of course the vegetable. I worked around with this. What had happened is, when you reduce the carbohydrate, the body will switch over and use fat as a source of energy. And that will really help for you to change these parameters, and you will reduce the fat percentage and the muscle mass. You will be simultaneously exercising. So the lean musculature is maintained. And getting protein with each meal becomes very important, and add the good fats. So that is where that spoon of butter, that little bit of coconut, drinking coconut oil in the morning, or perhaps even including apple cider vinegar or lemon juice to every dish that you consume. Okay, so all this, because when you add an acidic medium, the body will ensure that you do not have the sugar spikes. Okay, the glycemic index of the food itself will be maintained very well. Basically, it's about trying to keep the insulin under check. So if you have a good chunk of time where you can rework your body composition, reduce the fat percentage, because the idea is to keep the percentage varies. So the protein could be anywhere between 40 to 50%. Good fats could be 20 to 30, and the rest could be carbs. And before stepping into the season, go ahead and reintroduce the carbohydrates there. And as you mentioned, sleep, I think one is gadget usage. Okay. Next thing is also ensuring that you get some magnesium citrate. There are specific salts that would really help. Magnesium is something that you could consider. Some even add some Epsom salt and then dip their feet in it. That could be considered. Chamomile tea is easily available. You could take that also. And a lot of us tend to cut out grains at night. I think that's the biggest mistake a lot of people do. So if you want to cut the carbs, at least for lunch, eat the meat and the vegetables and the dal. Okay. But for dinner, keep the dinner at around 6:37. But eat khichdi, quinoa, bisbele bath, or have idlis, dosas, chawal, whatever it is, because the carbohydrates will release the serotonin and you will sleep like a baby. You will really see the difference.
Thank you very much.
Biggest mistake we do is we have soup and then tandoori chicken, or else fish tikka, chicken tikka, or the grills. So when the carbs are not there for dinner, it messes up with our sleep.
You're making me hungry with all the food talk, but thank you very much.
So, okay. Thank you, Leander. That was a fantastic question, actually. And thank you, Shiny.
Thank you.
We have a few questions from the attendees. The first one is regarding vegetarian diet and a non-veg diet. Does a tennis player have to eat non-vegetarian to get all the protein requirements, or can you satisfy it with just vegetarian diet?
Okay, how old is this person? Is there any specification given, Mr. Suresh?
No, this is a general question that everybody is asking. People who are vegetarians, they are asking, should I convert to a non-vegetarian to perform in tennis? Is a vegetarian good enough? This is a question that goes around, especially in India.
Okay, they might need some supplements. I'm being very honest. They might need some omega-3, some zinc, okay, and selenium, magnesium, chromium, manganese. These are things which are very, very important. And another thing is, we really need to know the entire food cycle. Okay, you need to know where your food is coming from. Is the food grown in a soil where there is crop rotation? Because in if you know, in the 1980s and 90s and all, if there was paddy being harvested in a field, once that is over, there will be pulses which are grown. Pulses will go ahead and fix the nitrogen from the atmosphere. So nitrogen gets fixed. Then the next phase, once this is harvested, the paddy is cultivated. So when you do crop rotation, this entire cycle happens beautifully. Whatever the soil is depleted by the paddy comes back with the pulses. But these days there's a lot of monorotation, which means only paddy grows in that particular field. When you do monorotation, and if you're not following ancient traditional method of farming, the soil will be quite depleted. And another factor is, where is the food coming from? How far is it coming from? Is this a product that's coming from another city, another country? And the shipping and all of that, by the time it comes to the warehouse and your local market, then wahan se kharid ke hum fridge pe rakhte hain, and by the time we cook, it will be a week. Okay, so you really don't know how much of nutrients are sitting there. Okay, so that's why I said supplements. So buy from the local market. Okay, so if you have a shandy, if you have a local vegetable market, go support that guy and ensure that he's practicing good farming techniques, and support that guy and source food from there. Then you're getting the maximum out of it. Okay, another thing is to first eliminate any kind of food allergy or intolerance, because even if you're eating nutritious food, you might not absorb it if there is a problem with the gut. So your gut or intestine is very, very important. So you go to an Ayurvedic Vaidya or any Siddha or any tradition, first they will cleanse your bowels, colon cleanse, uske baad they'll give medicines. So it is so very important for you to absorb. So these two factors are very crucial. You can be a vegetarian, but sit with a nutritionist to understand how to do the combinations right. Then it's fine. Yeah.
Right. Thank you, Shani. See, the general feeling is like, everybody is an expert when it comes to food. Your grandmother, your mother, your sister, your brother, everyone. And people don't understand the science behind this nutrition. Can you throw some light about how specific your diet has to be to an individual? What are the parameters you take into account? The different sport they play, even if they're playing only tennis, the kind of training they could be going through, it could be strength, it could be something else, So how do you differentiate, or what are the parameters you take into account to be specific, when you prescribe for a particular individual?
Very good question. Thank you, Mr. Suresh, for asking. Okay, so we do an assessment. So during the assessment, we ask about, who cooks the food, where is the food sourced, who goes to the market, okay, and what is your ethnic background, okay? Are you a Bengali living in Chennai, or a Kannadiga living in Gujarat? Okay, these things matter. What did you eat as a child? And also the regular pattern of eating, right from morning till evening. What do you eat Monday to Friday, and then weekend? Because weekend is a different ball game altogether. Dealing with teenagers or 20 plus. Weekend could be going to a pub, or it's just chilling at home. They end up eating, drinking, and everything goes in. So, okay, and whether when they pass motion, is it rope shaped or is it like and is it semi-solid? We've asked these questions also because it's a lot of information for me, for us, as nutritionists. You need, because the ideal thing, if you have noticed the old-fashioned general physicians, they will look at all this and then only give the prescription. So there could be simple, or they're feeling very tired and haggard. So all is also noted. Age, gender, male or female, and then of course the intensity, all this is taken into account. Plus also, where is the house, where is the school or college or the office, and what is the distance to the tennis court. And in the morning, what is the traffic, what is the distance taken to reach the tennis court, what is the distance in the evening, because in traffic there could be a lot of time wasted and recovery also gets affected because of that. And if there is any cramping history, if there is an injury history, so all these things are taken, and then a diet plan is. Another factor is also, there's no one diet chart. With just one diet chart, one visit to the nutritionist, nothing is going to change. You'll pick up few concepts. So usually what I do is I work with them for a period of time and teach them, give them all possible education, and after a point, they should not look for a dietitian, they should be on their own. So making them independent, know what to read, how to read a label, learn to cook some meals, because I always tell the parents, teach your boys how to cook. Because when they travel to different countries and if they need some desi food, they can toss up a meal and they'll have that, feeling of goodness. Another factor is also, what kind of foods to eat if you're going to a chaat shop, to a movie theater, or if you're going to a pub, okay? Or if you have a lot of weddings coming up. So, ask the parents to go ahead and take the kids to different restaurants. So Thai, Mexican, any kind of continental global cuisine, so that tomorrow if they're traveling to some country, they really need to get comfortable with the various cuisines. Okay, so there's a lot of detail that goes in. See, grandma's nuske jo hai, those are good, no doubt, but there is a little science also behind it. So I think it will be a good marriage if we consider what our ancient system is and then understand the Western concept. So my approach has been understanding Western concepts, but customizing it to the Desi player.
Okay. Yeah, that's very insightful. Yeah, definitely. When the players travel around, one of the biggest problems they face is the food. To adjust, you go to Thailand, you go to the food is just not the same. It's so different unless you understand the fundamentals. And if you eat right, only then your performance is going to take care of itself. Otherwise, there's going to be a big issue. We have a Vikas Rana. He's asking, can you please suggest some natural homemade hydrates that can be used during practice and matches, other than water and not Glucon-D?
Okay, fine. I'll tell you. Is this during the game, Mr. Rana? Are you asking during the game or after?
Before, during, and after.
Okay, fine. If it is before, let me tell you, very simple. You just have to ensure that coconut water is very good. You can try that. If it is someone who perspires quite a lot, you can probably ask them to top it up with this thing, electral. You could consider electral in a worst case scenario. Fine. Another thing is also squash. So take 250 ml of squash, dilute it with 750 ml of water, and add a pinch of salt. You know how these sport drinks taste? It's very dilute. So if a guest comes home, you'll make a lemon juice which will be quite sweet, right? It shouldn't be of that concentration, because that is called as a hypertonic drink. It has to be isotonic. Isotonic is the solution and the fluids inside your body are of the same osmolality. So simple thing, taste a sport drink. Understand how dilute it is. Prepare it with squash. Take squash, run it through, and then add some salt. Job done. This can be your simple sport drink. You can have this little before and then during the game. After the game, what you can do is, you can actually have a lot of your desi drinks. See, down south, we have something called as panagam. Okay, so panagam is nothing but during summer, what we do is the pot, we store water in the pot, mud pot, and it's nice and chill. And then we add dry ginger, lemon, jaggery, because jaggery has a little bit of iron and it also has salt. Okay, also squeeze in lemon, so the vitamin C comes in. Ginger is good for digestion, right? So you mix up all this and then drink. So this kind of a concentrated drink, or you can even water it down. This can be taken after the game. During the game, it's better to stick to isotonic. After the game, you can take something a little more sweeter. That is still okay. And you can also have lemon juice with salt and sugar, okay? And any of the squash, as I said. And after the practice session of the game will be porridges. So as I said, this multi-grain porridge mix. See, down south, it's called as Sattu Mavu Kanji. Okay, but you can call this a health mix. I'm sure it's available across the country. You will find this online. If you need any information, feel free to contact me. I'll share the recipe stuff that we make at home. And also ragi porridges and all that can be taken after the game. Or it could be a banana milkshake or an apple milkshake. In case the person has a lactose intolerance, apple, then a handful of soaked badam or cashew, add water, blend it, and then just gulp it down. Add some natural sugar. So jaggery will also help. Hope I've answered your question.
Yeah, Vikas is very happy. Shiny, you spoke about having water 10 or 15 minutes before food, and you told the reasons why you do that. Now, there's also a lot of myth going around about drinking water during and after food. People say that, oh, you shouldn't drink water while you're eating, or some people will say that after you eat, you should wait for a while, you shouldn't drink water. You know how people are. Everybody's an expert and everybody gives advice. Can you give us some scientific reasons why and what should do?
I'm glad you asked this question. That's the biggest problem that we're all facing. Anyone who eats a 3 square meal thinks is a nutritionist. And there are a lot of quacks around. Okay, so I would recommend that all of you go and check the Indian Dietetic Association website, idaindia.com. Okay, this is very important because it tells you who a real dietitian is. Very, very important for all of you because there are so many quacks around. Someone might just lose weight, okay, and then go ahead and claim themselves to be nutritionists. So we are battling that. Okay, besides that, let's come to this. The main thing is about, what was your question? I'm sorry, I'm so spaced out now.
I don't know. You about drinking during food and drinking after food.
Yeah. Okay. See, traditionally, if you look at a meal, you will have buttermilk, rasam, or there would be some liquid that we have. Patla sa wo chas jo hai, wo to hum lete hi hain, right? So we do drink this buttermilk, which is part of our culture, which is always there in our diet. So the only thing is, don't drink 1 liter of water before drinking or having a meal. The idea is to make sure that you just take sips of water. So before 15 minutes, drink a glass of water if you want. That's perfectly fine. And along with the meal, there'll be some buttermilk, or down south people have rasam, which is great for digestion. And when you have watery vegetables like white pumpkin or else cucumbers and all that, it already has water in it. Okay, so this is all part of a traditional meal, and there are different schools of thought. Food combinations and all that. So we really need to look at the basics and see where this is coming from. You can drink water 15 minutes before a meal. During the meal, have buttermilk or any of this rasam or the liquids that is part of your food. That's what I would say. Not a problem at all. You can take it. And an athlete's requirements are much different from a non-athlete.
Okay. And after food?
After food, don't gulp water. Wait for at least half an hour. Because if you've eaten a good meal and then taken some buttermilk and rasam, I think it's good, right? That's more than enough. You don't need. You can probably take half a glass of water just to wash down the flavor in your mouth, and that's it. Do not drink 1 liter soon after eating a meal. Okay. Perhaps that could be avoided. And hydration has to be staggered throughout the day. It shouldn't be all towards one particular time of the day. That's not good.
Yeah, absolutely. One Mahendra Varman wants to know, can you shed some light on leaky gut syndrome? Does it have anything to do with gluten?
Yes. Thank you so much for asking. A very interesting question. Yes, there is an issue. So what happens is, so the intestinal cells which are there, they're very tightly packed. Okay. And when we take drugs without prescription from a physician, or over the counter, you buy a lot of supplements and take it, or if you take alcohol on an empty stomach, there's a whole lot of medications, alcohol. It could be a long-standing acidity or gastritis. and also food intolerance, and you didn't know that you had an intolerance and went ahead to take a lot of gluten in the daily diet or lactose, this can happen. So you need to work with the gastroenterologist, and side by side also work with a nutritionist to fix the diet. Yes, because you need a lot of extra supplements to help the gut heal. So you will need MCTs, which is coconut oil, and then also some glutamine and some bone broth, because until this gets, because it affects performance. It can lead to anemia, which means fatigue, lack of recovery, and all of that. These things are very important, and you need to sort this out by working control.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Shiny. We ran out of time. There was a phenomenal session by you and answering questions. We have a whole lot of other questions. So what you can do is you can share your contacts and whatever. And if people want to ask, can they ask you, send you an email or something?
Do I type?
Yeah.
See, I have a website. I don't know.
You could just type it into the chat, your mobile number and your email ID, and or whatever contacts you'd like to share.
Yeah, Instagram handle also. Yeah. So I do a live session every evening at 6. Chandran is my maiden name. After marriage is Surendran, so that's me. You'll find me on Facebook too at the same name. So Shiny Surendran. Okay, so if you have any queries, please feel free to text me, to reach out. I'll be more than happy to give the information.
Yes.
So go local, eat desi food, eat what belongs to India, and meet a qualified nutritionist.
Yes, that's the most important thing. So thanks a lot, Shiny, and it was great having you here, and thank you for and I have to thank Balu also to bringing you in on this program.
Yeah, thank you so much, Balu sir. Thank you so much, Mr. Suresh. Thank you, and thank you AITA and Sports Authority of India for having me here. Such a wonderful opportunity to meet all of you. Thank you. Such a pleasure.
Well done, Shiny. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. Yeah. And all the participants, we have some good news for you. Mr. Miguel Crespo, the head of participation and coaching of the International Tennis Federation, will be giving a presentation for all of us tomorrow. This is going to be an amazing thing. I don't know if you all know Miguel Crespo, if you had known him as a person, as a presenter, he's the one who started the coaches education program in India. He's the one who initiated this, and the whole education program is his baby. He's a person who's written all the books. He's written books on psychology. He's written books on fitness. He's written books on tactics, technique, everything connected to tennis. He's a phenomenal individual, and it will be a revelation to listen to him talk tomorrow. And do not miss this. I repeat again, do not miss this session. He's going to talk about the continuous development, professional development of a coach. So tomorrow, the timing is going to be different. It's not going to be at 10 a.m. It's going to be at 3 p.m. tomorrow, because 10 a.m. is too early for Spain. So we'll be starting tomorrow at 3 p.m. I repeat, not 10 a.m. in the morning. We'll be starting at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. And tomorrow's guests are going to be our Davis Cup captain, Rohit Rajpal, and Vishal Uppal. And I once again have to thank Leander, still here, for staying for the entire session. Leander, it was amazing to have you for the entire session.
Thanks, Suresh. It's been really interesting, the conversations back and forth, looking at the questions and the comments on the message section, and also Shiny emphasizing on sleep and on metabolism. I struggle with sleep a lot, and to actually look at the hours that said between 10 and 2 to get that quality sleep is important. So really fun to be here. I'm going to take your leave and say goodbye. But all of you guys, stay safe, stay happy, spend quality time with your family and your loved ones. And once again, thank you so much, Sports Authority of India and the AITA. God bless.
Thanks a lot, Lee. So now you have your one last question. Somebody wanted to ask you: are you going to extend this last road for a while, or how long you're going to be around in the circuit?
I know that's not for Shiny. I was going to give her that question. But it's a big evaluation that the team's doing just now, because I'm 3 Grand Slam participations away from playing in 100 Grand Slams. So that's
Wow.
another world record I'd like to have for India.
Yeah.
And also the Olympics have been postponed from this summer to 2021. So
Yeah.
that's a goal there. But I think right now the call of the day, Suresh, is about staying safe, staying happy, practicing hygiene, taking care of our bodies, our minds, and our emotional fitness.
Yeah.
And I think that once the lockdown opens up and once tennis starts again, which I think is pretty much done for the rest of this year, I think it's going to be very hard to travel to international countries and play tennis in 2020. My humble understanding, it will be in 2021. So I'll evaluate this towards the end of the year once the lockdown opens up.
Okay. We definitely want to see you around in the Grand Slams, and we are all here to support you. You want some energy?
Yeah.
We are here.
I'm actually going to call you a little later to get Shiny's number. I need a little bit of help with my diet and my metabolism stuff and sleep. So it'll be nice to interact. But these sort of sessions are really wonderful to keep us motivated. After doing this for 30 years,
Yeah.
For me, the mental motivation is really important. So thanks for putting this together today.
Thank you, Lee. I'll message the number to you. Thank
See
you,
guys.
and
God bless.
bye-bye. See you, everybody, and see you all tomorrow at 3 p.m. It's not 10 a.m. Okay, it's going to be Miguel Crespo of the International Tennis Federation tomorrow. See you all at 3 p.m. Bye, and take care and stay safe. Bye.